Yo, what is going on, you guys? We are back with another video that is yours truly, Culture Shock. We're here to give you a preview of the Indianapolis Colts versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, which should be a good matchup, in my opinion. It's going to be defense versus defense. Both offenses, in my opinion, seem to have, still not figured it out fully. Of course, a lot of people are banging the anvil on Justin Fields being the go to guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers at quarterback. But I'm not completely sold on the Steelers offense, honestly. Now, of course, that's not saying much when you're a fan of the Indianapolis Colts and know just at any due time the defense can give up 300 yards passing in the air, no matter who's at the quarterback position. But I do think the defense has been playing pretty decently as of late. So it's going to be pretty much a good matchup for the Colts. And it's going to be a good matchup for Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson going up against the number one defense in the NFL as of right now. To be honest, of course, we know Anthony Richardson needs reps and has to go out there and play, to develop his skill and to become the formidable quarterback we all want him to be. And going up against the number one decent defense as of right now is a good matchup for him because you play mediocre defenses every now and then. You don't really get that full development of what you want to see out of your quarterback, especially a young one like a rookie quarterback as well. But him having a high ceiling, and the offense is getting it, trying to figure it out. Going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers is probably going to be the best game as of right now for him to fully understand, like, to try to let the game slow down for him, because he's going to have to be on all cylinders in order to try to get this victory and for the offense to get going. The defense can only do so much. You can only keep them out there for so long. And we kind of seen last week against the Chicago Bears when the Bears was pretty much trying to run up tempo, and Zaire Franklin pretty much went off sides on purpose just to get a breather for the defense. So that says a lot going into, just for the team to try to catch tempo and pace and try to pace themselves throughout the game. So I do think the offense is going to have to step up big time this game. They're going to have to pretty much go out there and try to be almost nearly perfect. I'm not saying they're going to be, but I'm going to say they're going to have to pretty much have some type of be some kind of polished going into this game, because it's going to be a huge week for them, and it could be a huge turnaround for them too if they go on some type of win streak, or if they go out there and hit the Steelers in the mouth and actually beat the number one defense in the NFL. That goes a long way for your locker room, for your team, for your organization, for the fan base. If you go out there and pretty much hit the number one defense in the mouth and let them know that, hey, we can go out there and ball with the big guys. So there was a few years when Colts fans wanted more primetime games, even Colts players, but they just hasn't played up to that type of game. So they never really got warranted primetime games. But if you go out there and pretty much put up a good fight against the Pittsburgh Steelers and actually win, that could go a long way for your team. So looking at the injury report as of today, we will get the final results on Friday of who plays and who doesn't. But as of right now for the Colts, Chris Lamons didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. Kenny Moore didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. Kwity Paye didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. Braden Smith finally came back to practice. He's a huge boost to that offensive line that we need. Tyquan Lewis didn't practice, but I feel like he's going to play. Grant Stewart, he practiced, and Ryan Kelly did not practice. So we're going to be updated on that to see if he plays or not, which is going to be very important because this defense, like I said, is going to be they're going to be flying. So we're going to have to look out for that. And the Steelers always had a really good defense. Um, Moving forward, for the Steelers injury report, Alex Highsmith didn't practice. Michael Pruitt didn't practice. Jalen Warren, Miles Kilbrew, Cameron Hayden, and Cordell Patterson. Russell Wilson and Isaac Samalo, with both guys that were limited in practice. But they did get back Roman Wilson, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Elliott, Dante Jackson, TJ Watt, Larry Agumbi, and Najee Harris. Sorry for the mispronunciation. So this team's going to be loaded and ready to go out there against the Colts. But like I said, for the Colts defense, they're going to have to, they're gonna be banged up, so they're gonna have to figure something out. Of course, we would love for Jalen Jones to have another type of game like that, but I do think the Colts defensive line could put a lot of pressure on Justin Fields to make some bad reads. Justin Fields is pretty dynamic as a quarterback. I'm not gonna lie, he is pretty dynamic. But if you go out there and put pressure on him and force him to make a bad read, you can have yourselves a pretty decent game on the defensive side of the ball. So the pressure is going to be very important this week for the Colts defensive line. When you look at the Colts offense going up against this defense, they do have TJ Watt on the opposite side, and TJ Watt, we all know how good he is. And this defense as well, like they're loaded at the linebacker group. The safety room is pretty good as well. So this offensive line is going to have another good week. They're going to be tested very heavily this week as well. And Anthony Richardson, he's just going to have to try to figure out how to, be more accurate on his passes, because you do not want to make a mistake against this defense. They will try to make house calls every chance they get. Other than that, Anthony Richardson, a lot of passes are very inaccurate. We all know that, but it's part of the development, so we understand it just takes time. Other than that, I do think the run game has to be very, very important this week. I I think the idea would be for me to for have them to run the run game opposite of TJ Watt's direction. I think you'll have a lot of success that way. Honestly, if you just run the opposite side, of course, the defensive line is really good, but forcing to run away from the opposite side might have a huge volume of success. I do think trying to find Alec Pierce this week or Josh Downs could be the go-to idea in the pass game. But your tight ends got to get involved this week. There's no question about that. They have to get involved. They got to figure it out. The tight ends, if they have a big week, we can be looking at a formidable victory for the Colts. But that's pretty much the idea of the perception that we should get from this game. So we should see how it's going to turn out. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys after the game. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is Culture Shock, and I will see you guys next time.